Hey, this is Time Bomb, and if it's your first time checking out the channel, hit that subscribe button to catch all the updates. Thanks a lot for joining me here today. I'm going to do a breakdown on my nickel Crossman. Basically, what I like to do is get pressure on first and second down, hopefully work them into a third and long, and then use this Crossman to shut them down, get some picks, and especially later in games. Sometimes I'll even wait until later in games to start cross-manning. I might just use a regular nickel if I can work them into third and long and just see how I can do it with just zones before I really start to specialize the cross-man, because you can kind of get burned if you cross-man too much. You can definitely over-adjust when you start to cross-man. So remember to give this video a like, and I'm going to go over how I'm cross-manning against a few different things here. We'll break it down in practice mode and looking at some of the game footage I have. So I'm going out of the multiple D book using the nickel defense here. You can sub in a safety. I get to bring in a safety here. And I'll just use the Tampa 2 here just because you can use that. And it's the same thing as, you know, the nickel blitz 2. You just decide if you want to blitz the slot nickel back or not. The slot nickelback, the slot cornerback, the nickelback or not. So I'm in the New England playbook here on offense. We'll just see like this PAY shot is a play that you know, will often see where they max protect. So they're going to get good coverage. Maybe they'll put Moss on a drag and have the two crossing routes, or, you know, put in a wide receiver there in that other spot. Some sort of things, but that's the general idea where you would see a crossing route out of a setup like this, or you would see halfback wheel out of this. Kind of the same principle, because you're going to have two routes coming to the middle. Just depends who they're going to have and who you're going to use her. So we see here the nickel blitz. What I like to, this is what my basic setup for crossman. You're going to base a line, put that middle linebacker in the deep blue, put these cornerbacks in the deep blues, and then put the safeties onto Gonzalez and Rice, those inside men, and then you're just going to use her. You're just going to watch Rice, how he goes, basically end up using him. I like to use her here. Brooks, where we have him there. I might put a safety in there depending on LT. It just depends. And then your other option is to put on the opposite side that you're using is to put a little hard flat out there. So I'm only sending 3, and I'm going to slant outside to attack them. Well, my cat seems pretty hungry. He's telling me he wants breakfast here, so I'll try to make this as quick as I can. So that's the basic. Let's put that hard flat out there. Once you crash outside, it does cancel that hard flat. So you have to remember to do that after you've crashed outside. So okay, so we got the hard flat. That's our basic look, and I like that hard flat because it's the opposite side of where I'm using. I'm going to use her on this side over here. Kind of watch Gonzalez for a bit. Rice is who I'm going to help probably out with. Just take a look if you that read over there, who he'll probably throw away with. That's why I like to have the deep blues on both sides, because they should. Also, last thing, actually, I almost forgot to mention, the most important part, you got to protect the sticks to keep those deep blues in place. So those crossing routes, when they come over, the deep blues won't get carried across. They'll stay in place and play those crossing routes and help out over there. So let's get my user a little bit back in place. I'm going to try to throw offense. So on one of these crossing routes, I didn't cancel the play action. See, generally, they're getting over there and helping out and making a play on those kind of crossing routes. So now it's not as wide open. It's going to be able to shut them down a bit more. So that's the thing is, though, like, you could end up kind of overcalling it. You know, that's why I like to have those deep blues out there. If you don't have the deep blues and you have the cloud flats, there's a really high chance that someone can burn you up top, right? Like here, I'm going to try to throw an example of that. If I crossman Rice here, just a quick example, but Moss is on that streak. I have the deep outsides. So, you know what I mean? The offense is just seeing this, boom. You're going to be able to throw him wide open in the end zone, essentially. He caught it, but if I would have thrown it a little more outside, it was going to be wide open. So that's the one thing you have to be careful about. You can alternate, you know what I mean? You can have a deep blue on one side. If you're aware of that and hard just using that guy, or maybe even manning him up with the deep blue, you do have that option. But generally, the way I like to run it is, again, this way. The deep blues. Whoops. It's a run play. Just wanted to clear that here for a second. All right, so let me do this. Go through the setup. I had the wrong controller. There we go. So there's our basic setup. Then we're gonna crash outside, put the hard flat, and protect the sticks. We're gonna use her generally over the middle and the right side over there, and then help out if there's a road developing over to the side here, or maybe in the middle, just depending on how we're seeing things go. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the setup. Oh, I forgot to cancel the play action. I'm going to throw X this time, and I wasn't able to click on, obviously, and make the play and help out right with my user, but there you can see the throw kind of generally how you can see the coverage was at least getting in there to protect it. So let's take a look at some of the gameplay footage where we can look at some more specific situations and how I'm cross-manning. So yeah, this first setup is exactly like I showed in practice mode right here. We see we've got that hard flat on the one side. And if you only want to send two, you can put the other side in a hard flat. It's just if they do switch to a run on you, then you might get burnt. That's the only thing, so you want to make sure you have, maybe then put your user into a blitz as well, so you're still standing three. So here we see he's backing up into coverage. He's looking for those roads deep, but we've got enough coverage there that he didn't throw it at the right time so that it had to go too deep and out of bounds, so we're able to shut it down. Again, here, the same kind of setup. Pressure's even able to get in there. So that's the other thing, too. If you with that crashing outside, that's kind of like the new QB contain. It's going to get pressure in there a lot of times. Here, again, he's got to scramble outside, tries to find it, but I'm able to cut that route off. Look, 5 different DBs on my team in that area for this play. Like, he's throwing it right into coverage. So you're really able to shut down some of these long plays. I think that he's going to run this back for a touchdown. A lot of these long plays, they can get shut down because you're running these crossmans and they're not seeing it. That's why I like to try to be a little more timely with when I run it here. See, he's getting good protection here, giving himself lots of time. Think that road's developing over the middle, but again, 3 different guys were in that area. Almost 2 of them definitely able to make plays on the ball. I'm going to come up with this pick. And that's how this crossman is able to shut it down, and why I like to have those deep blues still in the field, so when they do throw to one of those areas, you have help from usually the crossman and from the excuse me, and from the deep blue and from the man up user. So here, let's take a look at this play now. We can see on this one, I've got no deep blue, and instead I've got more pressure coming in from the nickel back in this case. You can see he's going to be blitzing. So I think that's going to get a little more extra pressure there. He's coming way outside. You see from the backside, making that hit right on him as he's throwing it. So you can send that extra man in to get a little bit more pressure. That's just from the nickel back. Again, here we see him sending it in. And that's going to help actually get some run for it too. I mean, that's the thing. If they do run on you in this defense, you can definitely get gashed. I can't underscore that. This is not a run defense. You need to be very, very careful about that. But because you have people manned up, the man coverage helps with those run fits coming in a little bit better. So that's the one saving grace about it, and especially from the safeties, since they're cross-manned, you're going to get run support from some decent hitters and some fast players. So that's going to help you out as well with the run. But that's, again, not a run defense. It just will do all right. So here, let's take a look at this next one we have here. It's very similar to what we saw. It has the 2 yellows in the middle with the crossman, 2 outside deep blues, and a hard flat. And this is a lot of time. This is specifically, I can see it's against the bunch. It's a good way to stop it, I think, especially if you kind of know what they're adjusting with here. And see here we've got some deep routes coming across. It's like a modified verticals. And they're coming up top again. He's got nothing. Playmakers it up, and I'm able to click onto my safety and make that play. Again, the coverage is just all over the field there and a nice user. I didn't necessarily need that deep blue because the outside were following it enough. Here's the same kind of look coming at him. Got a very active user over in the middle. Looked like the post was going to get in. You get that perfect click-on pick right there. I mean, you can't guarantee those ones are... Sometimes you're going to get beat on those situations, but I got the perfect click-on right there. That was like Madden 18, the way that they would play the zone dropping in, which you sometimes get from these really high zone players. That was my 99 Dawkins jumping in there to make that play, which, you can't guarantee that. Sometimes you're going to get beat there, but like I said, when you get them, it's amazing. So here, let's take up this next setup. We can see very similar, except I have no hard flat here. So I'm just, again, sending 4 at the QB. You get pretty decent pressure doing this as well. I've got that right end playing the hard flat. They're not quite getting in there, but I'm able to get a nice click on, at least from the outside there. And I'm going to have a decent little return here. Tries to spin loose. They're able to, looking to break free. In the end, he gets knocked down. So another little look there. And here we see... I've got the hover right over the line. That's another thing. You always want to be hovering right over there on one of those gaps. And then look at that. Kerrigan under the right end is going to make the play on that one. So he tried to quick read me, and the coverage got in there very quickly. So a lot of the thing, I think it's kind of tough to read because the defenders are moving all over the place as well. So you're not really sure what coverage you're seeing right away. It can kind of make it a little bit tough to read, especially if you're mixing up these different kind of looks at them with the Crossman. And still you don't want to just use this. You want to mix in these blitzes. I like to use the 4-3 odd a lot, and then just kind of use this on, like I said, on longer downs. And let's take a look at this last look here. We've got 3 deep blues, and we can see we've manned up one of the safeties on Hill. Now this is against a crossers, and rather than kind of cross-manning him, he's directly right there watching him. And then from across, we've got Jenkins on Rice, just because I think we've seen some crossers routes, and then Baldwin, we're expecting him to run deep. So we've got the deep blue there, which should look at it, the middle deep blue, and the outside deep blue. And then I'm sending 5 at them here with just a user to watch over the middle. So that's kind of what the last look here is. And I can see I've run out of face cam right now. So this will just be audio for the rest of this video. We see here it gets a little play action, which is a big mistake. Pressure doesn't get in there, but I'm able to still click on and stop him deep. So there we go, boom, get that last pick there on that Crossman. So I don't know, this defense is really working for me. I'm sure you remember from other years when you could use the Crossman, and it's still very effective. I just don't think you should use it every down. You should start to work your opponent into a corner. You can see what he's running and kind of adjust to it and be able to stop him. So thanks a lot for checking out this video. That's my breakdown on the Crossman. Remember to give it a like, hit subscribe if you haven't. I'll catch you guys later.
Boom, boom.